Owning a business is absolutely hard, and this is what I believe are the hardest parts about owning a business. Hey, my name is Tommy. I am a serial entrepreneur. I've scaled two businesses from nothing to $40,000 a month, and I just recently, most notably, bought a Subway franchise about a year ago, and I've gone viral across social media, pretty much saying how much my Subway store makes and kind of the stuff that's, happened throughout the Subway and how I've gone from working 15 hours, 7 days a week to not being there at all. And I want to use my channel to kind of promote entrepreneurship and people actually starting their businesses. So this is what I believe are the hardest parts about having a business. So one of the hardest parts about owning a business, and this is just in my personal opinion, and this is in a franchise, this is in a regular business, brick and mortar, doesn't matter, is showing up every day. That is one of the hardest things to do when you don't have results, when you're not getting good feedback, when you're not seeing the fruits of your labor, you're not seeing the benefits of the work that you're putting in. It's very hard to show up every day. But as an entrepreneur, you're required to show up every day, because if you don't show up every day, then you just push the goal back farther and farther and farther. Now, I'm not saying be 100% motivated to do something every single day, because I'm not 100%. But if you can figure out a way to get good habits that when you're not motivated, you still get the necessary things done, it will help you a whole lot in the future. Because I meet a lot of entrepreneurs that like have this burst of motivation, like, oh my God, I'm gonna start this thing, I'm gonna do this thing. But after the thing is not thinging anymore, they stop. And now they're in the whole new time loop doing something else, and they do the same thing, they stop when they don't see results. Whatever. So showing up every day consistently is a viable part to growing your business, but it is one of the hardest things to do, especially since, like I said, motivation is a hell of a drug. It gets you started, but it does not keep you going. It falls away. It's like a fire. Like it dies at some point. It's a lot harder to show up for your business when it's just you. Like you don't have any employees, you don't have any shareholders, you don't have anybody else. It's just you that's driving the business. It's 10 times harder to show up, but it's 10 times more important. You won't get to the stage to where you have employees to show up for if you don't show up for yourself first. But again, it's harder to show up for yourself, but it's way more valuable to show up for yourself. Since I have a team, since I have people that are dependent on me to, pay their bills and all that good stuff, it's a little bit easier for me to show up because I have other people dependent on me versus it's just me and just my business. So if you are by yourself, you're a solopreneur, keep fighting, because one day you'll have people that are dependent on you. So by showing up every day, I was able to, again, grow my businesses to $40,000 a month and be able to get a franchise and actually step out of the franchise and not have to work every single day. That's only because I consistently showed up every single day. The next hardest thing about entrepreneurship is adaptation. So adapting to situations that may not be ideal for you or your business, or adapting to situations that may make your business better and more money. And what I mean by that is a lot of times we hit these roadblocks in entrepreneurship, myself included. And I'll get to a point where it's like, hey, I don't have enough leads for my business. So then the next step is, okay, how can I adapt our systems, our processes to then get more leads? And that is something that will hold a lot of entrepreneurs like in the same spot, because they're not willing to adapt. Like they'll just continue doing the same thing that's not working. And I'm not saying jump from thing to thing, but when you know the thing's not working, it's time to go to something else. All right. And that brings me to my next point, which is learning. Learning is another hard part that a lot of entrepreneurs they kind of neglect, that soft skill of being able to just learn. And what I mean by that is I've spent almost $100,000 in the last couple of years on learning things, tactical and personal growth. Like I've spent almost $100,000 on that stuff. And every time I did it, my money came back with friends every single time. And a lot of entrepreneurs are not willing to just learn more. And the more you learn, the more that you can adapt, which means the more improvements you can make to you, yourself, and the business, which means more money that you'll make. So all these things are like tied together, but it's very hard for a lot of entrepreneurs to do it because, they want to learn a little bit and then they want to just figure everything out. The problem with figuring everything out is it takes a lot of fucking time. I'd rather just pay somebody that's been doing it 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, whatever. I'll pay for that time because I can't buy time in any other way. I can only buy it in skills and experience. There's no other way I can buy time. I can't go buy a time machine. So I'm very keen in on learning new information and then adapting or acquiring some kind of skill set or some kind of processes to bring back to my businesses. But a lot of entrepreneurs stop at the learning part. So learning is another hard part of entrepreneurship that a lot of people neglect. And this one is for like my new entrepreneurs, my entrepreneurs that are not entrepreneurs yet. I call them entrepreneurs, is staying with one thing. Everybody hears online 7 streams of income. You got to have this many streams. You got to do this. You got to do that. You got to do this. You got to do that. And what I say to that is, fuck that. Pick a thing that you are willing to go 100% on and stay on it. Because the problem is, like, you do something, you don't do it long enough, so you don't reap any other benefits of it, so you think it's not working. So then you go try something else, the same thing happens, then you go try something else, and you look back, it's been 3 years, you're still at the same job that you hate, doing the same thing that you hate, with 7 different failed businesses behind you and nothing to show for it. And what I tell a lot of entrepreneurs is, bro, just stick with it. Like every business has sucky parts. They have sucky parts. Just stick with it. Every business that I had has sucky parts. The Subway had sucky parts, stuck with it. The asset recovery business I had that was making $40K a month, stuck with it. Like, they all have sucky parts, and you can't run from it. It's gonna happen. So, gotta stick with the one path. The last and the hardest, the absolute hardest, like, people hate to see this thing coming. Like, it's the hardest thing about owning a business or starting a business or whatever. It's starting. That's it. I talk to so many different entrepreneurs that just will not start for some reason. Maybe it's I don't have enough money, I don't have enough time, mentorship, information, execution, I'm lazy as shit. Like, it doesn't matter. Just start. That's the hardest part is starting. And then after that, the hardest part is continuing. Like, that's it. If you do those two, at some point you will be successful, or at some point you will at least achieve some of the goals that you set out for yourself. Because I know that these problems are big problems, only because I've had businesses. But before that, it was very hard for me to get there until I started paying people to teach me stuff. I started a entrepreneur community. It's absolutely free. I don't want anything from you. Go to the link down below. You can join my group. It's everything on, how to start a business, how to structure the LLC, how to get your first couple of customers, how to get the business funding, the credit, all that good stuff to start, grow, or fund your business. And I want to be able to say I helped X amount of entrepreneurs start their business. So that's why I created, because so many people were asking me questions and I couldn't answer everybody at one time. So if you want to be a part of that, link down below, join that free group, and I will see you inside. But everybody else that's been rocking with me, I appreciate you. If you're new to the channel, subscribe to keep you updated on more entrepreneur stuff so we can keep you entrepreneur minded so you can keep growing as an entrepreneur. And I will see you guys on the next video. Peace.